Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, and welcome to a very belated recap video of a day I spent in New York City with my fabulous friend Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand and her family when they came to visit New York City. So by the time you guys are seeing this, it's been a couple weeks. So we wound up meeting on Friday, October 7th, which I remember vividly because it's Sarah's birthday. And we just met in the city. It was her first time in the city. And we just walked around and hit up some bookstores and talked and chatted. And it was the first time we'd ever met in person. And we just had a wonderfully fabulous day. And like when we were first talking about it, she was like, maybe we're gonna have to vlog this. And I was like, maybe we are. Neither of us vlogged anything, but I did have some footage I wanted to share. So while I was not great about documenting the day in the moment by talking to you guys, I just thought I would do a quick recap of our day. There obviously was some book shopping that happened, which means there were some books that were purchased. So I thought we would just sort of like jump on into it. So long story short, I have not been in the city since last July, so July 2021. So I like lived in the city for years, moved out of the city with the panorama like everybody else. My company went completely remote. And then last summer I was in the office. I feel like it was like 3 days a week for about a month because I helped reopen our New York office and made sure it was safe and staffed and we were doing all the good things for people who did want to come into the office. And that was sort of my last hurrah before I transferred into a different position at the company, which was work from home. So I have not been back in the city since then. So I will go back for a very good cause, like meeting a fabulous friend. So it was so strange on all fronts, from like being at the train station, even though I did it every day for years, and coming in. And it's just sort of like so much changes, but nothing changes kind of a thing. So I am one of those people who, even when I lived in the city, I live for kind of being a tourist in your own town. And even after a decade in the city, and like I grew up north of the city, so this is not foreign times for me, but I am still like just struck by Grand Central and Chrysler and, you know, all the buildings. I just love the architecture of it. I love the history of the city. So I definitely took some photos of all the obvious places. And one of the things that I did love seeing right next to Grand Central, they had torn down the building that was there a few years ago, and it was like under construction while I was working there. My last office was right near Grand Central, so you could literally see the construction being done. But it just opened up sort of the space for those who are familiar with Grand Central on the Vanderbilt side. And there's just a little seating area. And I just was sort of admiring like all the beauty of magic of what's going on there. So from there, we met on the front steps of the New York Public Library because it was convenient to both of us and because it's a super easy place to meet. It was like, meet by the lions. So that's what we did. And we went into the library and just kind of looked around. It was unfortunately super warm, so it wasn't like a place any of us wanted to stay for too long. But we did just walk around, look around. It's always tricky because there are people legitimately working in the research areas and trying to get work done, but there were tons of other tourists there taking pictures, looking around. So we did do that. And of course, we hit up the library gift shop because what else are you going to do? So I did wind up picking up a bookmark. I just pulled out the books to show you guys and I realized I got all these other accessories I should show you too. So I wound up getting this bookmark, which I feel like is going to shimmer and shine in all the worst ways. It actually is the library. I will get you guys like a better insert of it. So just a little metal bookmark that goes in your book. Like you guys don't know how a bookmark works. Oh my gosh. And then I got this one, which I haven't opened yet. So they did have a Winnie the Pooh exhibit, but it was who I love. I'm a big fan of Pooh Bear. And it was like time ticketing, so we didn't do it. But I did get this bookmark. So like you clip this on the book and then it has a ribbon that goes in, and then the ribbon is your bookmark. So you clip this metal part onto the front of your book. And it's Pooh and Piglet, who, come on, love Love, love, love. There also was a Pooh Bear doll, which I completely wanted to buy and I didn't. And then I wound up buying it for my friend's baby shower and I wanted to keep it, but I didn't. But if at some stage down the road I am holding a Pooh Bear in one of these videos, don't be totally surprised. It could happen. And then I also got a Christmas tree ornament. So it is the library cards. So I'll do some inserts of these as well so you guys can see them better, but love it. So cute. I am a sucker for all the things. And then I got this magnet, which I still haven't even opened, which is so sad. They had all these really cute magnets. Sad in the sense that, like, come on. And Sarah actually spied this one and pointed it out to me. So it says, "Easy reading is damn hard writing" by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So I just need to peel this off its backing, pop it on the fridge, and live my best writing life because Nano starts soon. And you can bet that I am not where I should be. So we had a fabulous time at the library, and then we just walked down Fifth Avenue and made our way down towards Flatiron. So stopped by the base of the Empire State Building to look up. It's so funny. It's like one of those buildings, like if you didn't know it was there, you'd miss it. But then of course, by the time we hit Flatiron and turned around, you could see it. So we just walked down the street, like walked and talked. It was just like the best. And it was the perfect, perfect fall day. Little warmer than a typical fall day, but it was so nice. The sky was bright blue. Everything was absolutely perfect. And our mission was to make it to the Strand, which we did. So we popped out for some lunch, got to the Strand, and it was so good. It was so good. So I have not been, like I said, I haven't been to New York City since July of 2021. And I haven't been just browsing in the city in probably 3 years now, because I would go to work and I would go home. Like, I'm not hanging out at the Strand when I'm like working. So it was just so much fun to be down there and see how some things have changed. But anyway, enveloped in the warmth that is the Strand. And I had gone to the city that day with a mission of 2 books that I wanted to get. Anything else was going to be gravy. So Sarah and my birthday are 5 days apart. So I was like, well, this is just early birthday for me and birthday for her. So I was giving myself a little bit of some string to play with. So at the Strand, I found one of the books I intended to buy. They didn't have the second one. And then I just made up for it by buying some other books. So the first book I got, which was my planned purchase, is The Trespasser by Tana French. So if you guys have been keeping up with me, you know that I read the first 2 books in the Dublin Murder Squad during Series September. I finished book number 2 on October 2nd, but I'm totally obsessed again with Tana French, and I'm committed to reading this entire series. So this is book number 6. This is the final current book. I don't know if it's the end of the series, but it's the last one that is in existence at this point. And I have all the other books. So it seemed just like a perfect time to complete the collection. And well, I would say, oh, I want them all to match. Book number 4 that I have is a hardcover, which I found at a library book sale recently, but I did want to have the whole set as like a motivator. So book number 6, I'm not even quite sure what it's about. Each book in the series focuses on a different detective in the squad. So you are able to read them in any order you want because the crimes are not necessarily connected in any way. Characters will weave in and out of the books, is my understanding, based on the 2 I've read, and then the back cover of another one that I would like to read. One of those detectives like appears in one of the earlier books. So this one focuses on a detective named Antoinette Conway and Stephen Moran. So their names have not yet come up, or if they have, maybe they've been super minor. So I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but my goal, plan, intention is to read them in order. So little ways to go, but there you go. And then I was not in any capacity looking for this book, but I have talked a lot about my love of Patricia Cornwell and the Kay Scarpetta series. And at the beginning of October, I was like, after Series September, I was like, let me just read the next book in the series as my reread kickoff thing is happening, because I've been picking up all the books in the series to collect the entire series. And I was reading book number 3, totally enjoying it. And while I was just browsing the shelves at the Strand, they mix in new books with used books because you can sell your books there. and I came across this hardcover edition of Postmortem, which is her first book. So I do have 2 other copies of Postmortem, no judgment. I have my original mass market paperback, which is not what I'm grabbing for here. And then I have a replacement paperback, which I purchased years ago. And I saw this and I was like, it says on the back, this is out of print. You can't get this anymore. I don't have a hardcover of it. It's the first in the series and it was used, pre-loved, so it was a little bit cheaper. And I bought it. I totally bought it and I'm not sorry about it. It's in perfect condition and it just feels like it needed to be mine. So now it is. So I'm super excited about it. And then of course I was looking and I was like, oh my gosh, what other like secret things do they have? And I went down every aisle of all my favorite authors looking for other gems, but I stopped with this one as far as books that I already own. And then the last one I got at the Strand is, wait for it, I got The Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. And I had just heard about this a few days before. And I actually, because I'm crazy, was on the Strand's website before we went. So I was trying to see, like, I knew I wanted to get some like accessories, for lack of a better word. So I was just trying to browse and see what they had. And I noticed that they were doing an event with Aaron Adams the Tuesday before we went. So this is actually a signed Strand edition. So she autographed this while she was there in the store. They have a whole bunch of books that are signed by authors. So this book just came out and this just totally sounds like something I would love. We've got Reluctant Return Home. We've got Mystery in the Past and Mystery in the Present. And we have a little bit of what I'm going to loosely call amateur detective. So in this book, we are following a woman named Liz Rocher, and she is going back to her hometown, reluctantly, for her best friend's wedding. So she does not have the fondest of memories of growing up in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So she is a Black woman. It was a predominantly white town, and she's kind of gearing up for some passive aggressiveness, some awkward reunions, but she's going for the wedding. And then at some point during the wedding reception, the couple's daughter, Caroline, goes missing. And all that's left behind is a piece of white fabric covered in blood. And this is a crime that is eerily familiar to one that happened years ago when Liz lived there. And Liz is committed to finding out what happened to Caroline. So she starts to take on a bit of that amateur detective role. She starts to look into the town and she starts to discover a bunch of the town's secrets. And it says, as Liz starts to dig through the town's history, she uncovers a horrifying secret about the place she once called home. Children have been going missing in these woods for years, all of them Black, all of them girls. With the evil in the forest creeping closer, Liz knows what she must do. She must find Caroline or be entirely consumed by the darkness. I'm so excited. This sounds creepy. This sounds perfect for fall. So I'm going to read it. I'm very excited for it. And I'm psyched to have a Strand personalized copy, or not personalized, Strand autographed copy. So yay fun. So that was the Strand. We spent a lot of time there. I also got, hold please. Okay. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you might have seen this already, but I got this beautiful Strand bookstore bookmark. Words. Why don't I have words today? It's because it's been a day. So it's red and gold and it's absolutely beautiful and I am very excited about it. And then I got this tote bag. You guys, it's like a Mondrian tote bag, but it's all books. It's like a bookshelf and then on the back it has the Strand sign on it, which I absolutely love. So it's super cute, perfect for books, other such things. I have issues. It's all good. They're all good because I'm aware of them. So after the Strand, we tried to control ourselves a little bit, but surprisingly, the Strand did not have all the books we wanted, and it did not have some of the books Sarah's daughter wanted. So we went to the Barnes & Noble in Union Square, which is the biggest one in the city, and, you know, just to check it all out. So we went to Barnes & Noble, and I found the book I was looking for, which was the other one that was on my list, which I'm super excited about. And it's The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. So I talked about this in my most anticipated books of October. I am usually not like a holiday focused book, but everything about this book wiped all of that away. So I believe it was in September, the Poison Pen in Scottsdale, because I'm of course subscribed to their newsletter, even though I live nowhere near there, but they were talking about this book coming out, which put it on my radar. So this says 12 clues, 12 keys, 12 days of Christmas, but how many will die before 12th night? So this is the annual Christmas game at Endgame House, the Armitage's grand family home. So this definitely gives me a little bit of Knives Out meets Inheritance Games vibes to it. And we have this year's prize is To Die For, Deeds to the House Itself. So our main character is Lily Armitage. She has no interest in any of this. She doesn't plan to go back. And it says she hasn't been back to Endgame since her mother died 21 years ago. And she has no intention of claiming the house that haunts her dreams. But then, of course, she receives a letter from her aunt promising that the game's riddles will give her the keys not only to Endgame, but to its darkest secrets, including the identity of her mother's murderer. So of course Lily is going to come back because the only thing she cares about is what happened to her mom. Everything else, whatever. So she has to compete with her estranged cousins for the 12 days of Christmas. The snow is thick, the phone lines are down, and no one is getting in or out. So Lily has to keep her wits about her because not everyone is playing fair and there's no telling how many will die before a winner is declared. This sounds super fun, and I believe there is a scavenger hunt. I'm just like trying to look without looking for the reader. So I kind of feel like we're going to be armchair detective. Oh, there's like a map, like Clue style, and the family tree in the front. You had me at the back of it with the 12 clues. You give me a map, you give me a family tree, you give me the rules, there's anagrams. I'm in. It starts on Christmas Eve. I'm totally in. I cannot wait to read this book. I think it's going to be such great fun, and I am all in. So thank you very much, Barnes & Noble, for hooking me up with this one. Let the games begin. It says that on the cover. So we did, knocking stuff over, hang out at Barnes & Noble a little bit, and then kind of just made our way back uptown. We popped over to Times Square. So it's like, can't come to New York City without seeing it. It's cuckoo. It is what it is. We saw where the ball is. We just sort of took a couple of pictures, looked around, took it all in. It was both more crowded but less crowded than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Obviously, it was a beautiful day, so there were a lot of people out and about, but we just sort of took it all in. But like, I feel like the best part was just walking and talking and being together. So it was just such a great day. Then came the sad goodbyes and having to return home again. So hopped back on the train, which I will say the weirdest thing, because I wound up taking the train home during rush hour on Friday night, or the rush hour that I know. There was nobody on the train. I was talking to a friend of mine afterwards who I used to work with, who I used to commute with, because I was so high maintenance about getting there early, getting a good seat. I have a system. I have a system to things. And I kept waiting. And then I was like, am I on the wrong train? Like, is this train even leaving the station? And then the woman in the row in front of me, she was like, is this train going? And I was like, I hope, because this is where I'm going. Like, it was very, very funny. But wound up being a super quick ride home and all the things, and just left the day full of love and full of warmth and just had the best time ever. So I am sorry I didn't actually live vlog us together, but we really just were together and hanging out. And again, I got to hang with her girls and meet her husband, and we just had a really, really good time. And it was just sweet and wonderful and perfect, and never enough time. So the good news is we got a taste of it. So we have to plan another event and another visit. But it just was like, we were just talking about this today. There's no substitute for being in person with people and being together with people, and just being able to hug on people and love on people and just be surrounded by wonderful people. So you get that, and you add in some bookstores, and it's like best day ever. So we had a great time. So that is my day in the life of New York City. Not quite a vlog, but wanted to still tell you guys about the trip and what a great time we had. So that's that. But yes, it was really, really strange to be back in the city, and it was both like wonderful but weird. And I don't know, it's just been so long since I've done anything, and it just felt really good to like do something and do something fun, and it just was great all around. So on that note, I'm gonna call it a video, but thank you guys for watching and being here, and I will see you guys in another video really soon. Bye everybody.